These 5 teams made it into the playoffs this season, but will they be so fortunate next year? Let's talk all about it, and welcome back to the Owaki Show, and we are here today to talk all about these 5 teams in depth, one by one, and see why and how they will not be making the playoffs after they did this season. So starting off with the Winnipeg Jets, finishing the year with 46-33-3. They looked like the oil was leaking late into the season. They did not look too good, but they finished the year strong with 95 points. Second wild card is what they get in the Western Conference. Pretty good. Good enough. I mean, made it into the playoffs, but just by that much above, I think it was the Nashville Predators, finishing behind the Seattle Kraken. So they go into the playoffs and they get handed to easily by the Vegas Golden Knights. Not even a chance against the Vegas Golden Knights. They were abysmal and they had nothing to do with it. And now this team's selling. We can hear it. We've heard all about it this offseason. The team is selling, trading everyone away. Pierre-Luc Dubois is already gone. Blake Wheeler was allowed to walk. And now rumors are that Connor Hellebuck, who I think does need to change the scenery, they've already brought in Laurent Brossoit from the Vegas Golden Knights, their former backup goaltender, probably going to be taking the reins over now. Hellebuck's on his way out. Scheifele's on his way out, which makes sense. These guys have 1 year left on their deal. You better get rid of them now when you get that whole year to trade away to those guys, a team to get a better return than wait till the trade deadline. So who knows if you can't get a trade to happen, they just walk for nothing when it comes to free agency next year. Now's the time for them to sell, and it's just obvious. They're selling team. It's been known. That's what's happening. It's going to happen with these guys eventually. It's just a matter of when, not if. And for guys like Josh Morrissey, who was an amazing player last offseason, which I will say was snubbed of a Norris Trophy vote, but whatever. But he finished the year with 73 points. Can the guy do it again? He was the guy on the defense last year, pushing them from the back end. Can he redo it, or was that a fluke season? There's a lot of question marks about this team, and question marks of just, like I said, when, not if scenarios. And for Winnipeg, it just kind of seems like the writing's on the wall. They're going to be out. They're just kind of giving up, and that's really it. So Winnipeg, an obvious one. The New York Islanders, another circular logo team, finishing the year 42-31-9. They finished in the first wild card spot with 93 points last year for the Eastern Conference. They were solidified. They looked like they were going to be in the playoffs for the whole run-in to right into the end zone. Like, it didn't look like they were going to miss the playoffs at all last season. But this team, I fear, the issue with this team and Lou Lamoriello has always been that they show no sign of improvement. Lou sitting on his hands again, never deciding to pick up the phone and say, "Hello, Johnny, let's make a deal." He's never doing anything like that. He picked up like Bo Horvat, which was like the biggest move he's ever made in his career. I'm sure you guys can comment down below and tell me, "Well, you did this." I don't care. What have you done for me lately? This guy, Lou Lamoriello, does nothing to really improve this team. And the biggest issue is offense. The Islanders' offense has never gone anywhere, ever. They just never improve that offense. Defense, they're great. Goaltending, absolutely fabulous. But offensively, they cannot produce at a good level. Take Bo Horvat. He was a more than a point per game player on the Vancouver Canucks. 54 points in 49 games. Gets traded over to the Islanders. What does his numbers go down to? 30 games and 16 points. That's basically half a point per game on the top line. And I get that it's a different structure, but still, you need that offensive drive up front, and they have done nothing to improve, while all the other teams around them that were right below them, less than 10 points away, were like Buffalo Sabres, who I'll talk about in the reverse of this video that'll come out tomorrow, that these other teams are improving while the Islanders sit on their hands and do nothing, and they will be just pushed out of their position. And it's just a shame because Lou, when will he learn his lesson? I have no idea. Will he ever? Probably not. He's too old to really care at this point, right? He's already made his money. But anyways, the Islanders out of the playoffs. Next up, the first controversial one, the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now, the whole point of this exercise to me is that this is going to be more of a new series with the 5 teams, is that it's going to be more It has to be 5 teams, because I could have easily done 3 teams and just done Winnipeg, Islanders, and the Panthers. But I wanted 5 teams, so I had to be pushed to come up with a couple teams that I didn't really believe but have an opportunity to. But Tampa Bay, I really think this might be the end is near scenario here. I talked about them in a video a couple days ago. And I think the signs of age and the signs of just this team falling apart have already come, and the team is deteriorating. And it's the same. I mean, this team has been the king of the NHL for the last 9 years, in my opinion, them and the Boston Bruins. And now with the losses of defense, the losses of that offense are just gone, and they're just falling apart. The bottom 6 of this team is absolutely mid, maybe more meh if anything. They finished 3rd in the Atlantic last year, but that whole final, 2 months before the playoffs started, they were abysmal, with guys like Steven Stamkos, Kucherov, and Braden Point, those top 3 guys, benched for, 2 periods or 1 period against some team. I remember that happening a couple months before the playoffs started. The guys are starting to wear down, and by no means am I saying this team is absolutely terrible, but this might be the year where, after all of that skating and hard work, it caught up to them towards the end of the season last year, and then especially against that Toronto Maple Leafs series, that is finally catching them. They're slowing down, and those top guys picking up all of the slack of the other team, of the rest of the team now, is going to be even worse, with the loss of Alex Killorn, Ross Colton, and now Corey Perry, Patrick Maroon, and now just over the years of losing guys one by one in Palat and Yanni Gourde, they just lose things one by one, and now I think it's finally caught up to them, with guys like Tanner Jeannot being a big question mark if he can really do anything out there and help them out. I think this team, and Anthony Cirelli, he's a great two-way player, but he's not he isn't enough to really make that offense thrive. And Anthony Cirelli and Nick Paul, top 6 is scary, and to me, it's kind of like the New York Islanders, where the team is not improving, and in fact, at least with the Islanders, I'd say they stayed the same, but this team is getting worse, and I think the end is near. And this might be the year where, after all of that 9 years of success, like the Penguins in their, 16 years of success, finally goes out the window, and that streak comes to an end this season. Moving on to the Florida Panthers. 42-32-8 is what they're finished their record with. 92 points. So not that bad. We already know the story here, right? They were basically out of the playoffs, and it was the Penguins' spot to have that second wild card spot, but they screwed the pooch, kissed that opportunity out the door by losing to the 2 worst teams in the league, or at least just the Blackhawks, who were the worst team in the league at the time, and they screw it up, and the Panthers luckily get in, and then we already know, I'm not breaking the news to you, went on one of the craziest Cinderella stories ever, but then lose in the finals. Now, on that way to the finals, though, they sustained a lot of injuries along the way. Currently, Matthew Tkachuk, I guess it's theorized that he might be able to make opening night, but I guess maybe he could. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But then Brandon Montour, Ekblad are definitely going to be out to at least start the season. And for those guys, as well as all the losses of Anthony Duclair and Radko Gudas, Mark Stahl, I'm sure there's a few others that just don't ring to my bell right now. Those losses and those injuries are going to prevent them from having a very slow start to begin the year. They might go out there strong, trying to reclaim what they had from last season, but it's going to be a tough ride. It's going to be tough to start that season, and they already basically missed the playoffs last year. They just got handed, by the grace of God, an opportunity to get in and go on that run that they were on. They've only gotten worse, and guys like Bobrovsky are still a question mark. Is Spencer Knight going to be in and be a good number 1 goaltender and sustain throughout the entire year? Does Matthew Tkachuk play the 100-point season that he had last year? Does the defense definitely looks worse than last year? Just so many things about them. And Florida, I just think they got worse and did not get better. And last year they were basically out the door. and now they're even in a tougher position than they were last year. So a lot of factors going into it. That Florida, the second wild card. So to me, I think we're gonna have a completely new wild card spots this upcoming season for the Eastern Conference at least, with the Islanders and Florida gonna be out of it. So wild card gonna be wiped out there. And then last but I guess not least, the Edmonton Oilers. Now, the point of this exercise in this video was for me to find teams that I think could be missing it. And to me, I was down to a couple of teams, and it was between them and I think maybe the LA Kings. And I decided to end up with the Edmonton Oilers. I think the Oilers, the biggest issue is that they have a lot of question marks. Last year, they were gotten to the playoffs by Connor McDavid's 153 points, 63 goals. Just imagine. I don't think people realize this. What makes a player so good when they have so much production is 153 points. That's enough for three guys who are like a good second-line centerman, getting three guys getting 50 points. And he did that just on his own, right? As well as Leon Draisaitl getting 52 goals and 128 points. Once again, same thing. Maybe two good second liners getting 60 points, but all in one guy. Then there's Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, who got to 104 points, 37 goals. Then Zach Hyman was up there too in the 83 points. And those three guys had such amazing seasons, glorious seasons. But can they do it again? I know McDavid's going to have this type of seasons again, but will they do it this year? And to me, I think this is going to be like a cool-down year. This is a year where they're going back into it. All the fans are going to be like, this is the year again. Let's do it. And then they get in, and they just don't have the energy. It's just going to be one of those relaxing years again, and they just can't pull it together. Those three guys, amazing seasons. I'm sure they'll get to 100 points again, but does McDavid get to 153? Or does he get to 102? Does Leon Draisaitl get to 101, right? Does Nugent-Hopkins drop back down to like an 80-point season? Does Zach Hyman not have that type of season as well, go into the 70s? Evander Kane, he missed a lot of the season, but still, does he only get to 40 points, 50 points, right? And those are the question marks to me, because after those top four or five guys, and especially those top three, it drops off by a ton. The rest of this team, not including Kane, McDavid, Draisaitl, Nugent-Hopkins, and Hyman, those four guys, McDavid, Leon, Nugent, and Hyman, every single one of the offensemen on this team got less than 30 points. Most of them in the 20s, and even less than that. That is a bad situation going into next season right now. And also, the power play, the best power play percentage ever in like the last, I don't even remember the number, but one of the best power plays ever in the last who knows how long. Can it be as good as it was this year? I don't know. I think this was the historic season that McDavid will get back to and probably break within his years to come as well. But I just think this is one of those scenarios where the guys have an absolutely stunning season that go down in the record books. But it's hard to do the same thing 2 times in a row, especially on such an individual effort. And I know McDavid is the best. He's, my opinion, the best player to ever play hockey. But can he do it 2 years in a row at this level? I think he could get to 120. But what if he gets to 120, Leon only gets to 100, right? And the rest of the team absolutely sucks. The defense, you can say whatever you want, but I'm going to disagree with you. Cody Ceci, he's a good, like third pairing defenseman, but he's not that great of a defender. Darnell Nurse is not the defender that this team needs. I really like Ekholm. I really like Bouchard. But the other 4 on this team I think are just not the best. And goaltending to me is still questionable, right? Stuart Skinner, great first season. But is he going to be a guy like Binnington, where his first year's like, wow, that's crazy. And then the next year's like, okay, he's still good. Maybe this is his down year after having such a crazy season. And then the next year is like, oh, God, this guy is not who we thought he was, right? Is he going to be a scenario like that? I don't know, obviously, but I'm just saying it's questionable. It's not proven. And Skinner, to me, was still not that great of a goaltender. Like, I liked him, and he's definitely good, and he's definitely NHL worthy. But is he playoff or leading a team to the playoffs worthy? I don't think so. I like the guy, a great mustache, but just not that type of goalie. He's just not that guy. And to me, it's just not it. So, Oilers out of the playoffs, and tomorrow I'll be making the next video of this, and it'll be the flip side, and will be the 5 teams who didn't make it that will get in. But that'll wait for tomorrow, so I guess you're just going to have to wait. And I know I'm so sorry, but you're just going to have to. But anyways, thank you for watching this. That's all I've got to say. So until next time, please, I'm begging you, pick up your free subscription. And until next time, too sweet, have an amazing day. And ta-ta for now.